Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ask a Recruiter Ever Anything. My name is Caitlin Good. I'm a recruiter in the Northeast region. I'm coming to you live from Thessalon, Ontario, the OPP detachment here in Thessalon. So today we've got some exciting topics to talk about, some very important ones to help you get through the process to be a police officer and to apply to the OPP. So the three topics today we're going to be talking about are motivation, lifestyle, and leadership. So these are extremely important. They are some areas of assessment that we will be discussing throughout the whole process with you. So we just want you to be aware of those areas that we will be assessing. So I see that we have some people logging on right now. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. We're so happy that you've joined us today. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about the OPP values. And we want to know that your lifestyle aligns with these OPP values. So serving with pride and professionalism and honor, interacting with respect and respect, compassion, and fairness, and leading with integrity, honesty, and courage. So these are things that we really strive to get from you as a police officer. So our first area that we're going to be talking about today is motivation. So that's the why you want to be a police officer, why the OPP. When I interview people, a lot of the time people say that they want to help people, they want to be really involved in their community, and they want to be seen as a person that people trust in their community. So that's some of the reasons that people do want to be police officers. But what is your reason? It could be personal experience. So I know growing up, I remember seeing police officers come into my school, my high school, my elementary school, and give presentations. Maybe that's something that really touched you. Maybe it's you went to an event and you saw a police officer at a table and you were speaking to them and you saw yourself wearing that uniform. So maybe that's the reason why you want to apply. Or maybe it's also because you had an experience in your life that was stressful, that was something that really affected you, and you want to be a police officer that can go and help people in those times. So it's your desire to serve, your passion, obviously, to uphold the law and enforce the law, and maybe personal experiences like I touched on. And some people also talk about career growth and development. Maybe that's why, because you see this job as one where you can continuously change careers in your career. So hi, Barry James. Thank you for logging on today, and Lee Barnett. So we're so glad that you guys are listening in on our Ask Me Anything. So again, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave them on the side. I will be answering them as I go on. So our next area that we're just going to kind of touch on is lifestyle. So are you the kind of person that people see and think, hey, they would be a great police officer? Are you physically fit? Are you do you have a routine that you do daily, or do you just sit at home all day? We're not going to want people that apply to us that don't have already a routine, that aren't working, that maybe haven't worked those 12-hour shifts before. So we want to see that you do have that routine already, and we want to know that you are physically fit and able to do this job. So I see here, just stopping, I see a question for applicants under the age of 23. How do we demonstrate exceptional life experience? So that's a good one. So everyone has their own pathway and in their life, and you might have experienced something as a child, or you might have experienced something as a student that you want to talk about. Exceptional life experience, where again, some people do have that, but some people don't, and that's okay. As a 23-year-old, you might be just finishing school, you might have experience with a stressful time in your school or within your family, and that's okay. That's something that you can talk to. It's all about communication and telling us about who you are and demonstrating that you do hold these same values as the OPP does. So lifestyle again, let's talk a little bit about that. Are you somebody that is going out to the bars every weekend and drinking a lot of alcohol, consuming drugs? It's okay to have a drink here or there. It's okay to obviously cannabis is legal now, so yeah, you might use cannabis here and there, but we want to know that you're operationally ready, that if you do get a call and you do need to come into detachment, say at 3 o'clock in the morning because night shift's left and you're coming in for day shift, are you ready that you can go to a call for service at that time and you're not impaired, obviously? So those are things that we're looking at. Somebody that consistently shows that they are upholding these values that we do look for. So another thing is community engagement. So are you the kind of person that people in your community reach out to if they have a problem? So are you going to get calls from a friend or from one of your children's parents saying, hey, I've got this problem, or this is going on in the school. How do we fix this? Do you have any suggestions? Are they looking at you for suggestions? That's something that we look at too. And that also proves that you're a leader. And that brings us into the next topic we're going to be talking about. So when we complete an interview with you, when we look at your application, we are going to be looking at different topics, those 10 areas of assessment. Those are the ones we're going to be touching on. And we're going to be looking at, I guess we could say, scoring you in certain ways. So are you somebody that has completed a high level of education? That's obviously going to be above somebody that's just completed high school. So things like that, that's what we're looking at. Just looking at some of the questions here. There's one about special skills. In the application form under special skills, it says, do not put special skills that are related to policing. Somebody said that they've spoken to officers and they say put anything. Just asking for thoughts on the application. Thank you, Joseph. That's a great question. So yeah, any special skills that you do have, those can be anything from you have your PAL, you have a security guard license, you have your Bronze Cross swimming lessons certificate, you are certified coach in whatever sport. So those are things that we will look at, and we do love to see those special skills that you do have. Maybe you are a black belt in karate. I know I've touched on that in the past. So these are things that we do love to see. We like to see that maybe you speak another language. That would be a special skill too, other than just English. If you speak French or you speak any other kind of language, we would love to know that. That's a great skill to have and a great asset to the OPP. So I'm going to move on to leadership. That's our next area that we're going to talk about. Leadership is not just being a leader as like a teacher in school or a counselor at a summer camp. That is obviously an example of leadership, but it doesn't have to be something big like that, something like in your job. It could be something little, like you are a parent. You are constantly leading by example. You are teaching your children good values, you are teaching them manners, things like that. So that is leadership. Leadership can also be something small as at work you've been working there for the past year and you help teach new and instruct new employees that have just been hired. So that would be a great example of leadership. So there's so many different things that we can touch on here for leadership. The main thing is that we want to see that you are a team player, that you do work well with others, because obviously policing, we do work as a team to come to some sort of solution whenever we go to a call. And we want to see that you've got great communication skills. So that's part of teamwork that we really are looking at. We want to know that you are able to de-escalate situations, and how your interpersonal skills are. So how you work with other people, how you listen to others, and how you communicate with them, and that you can really solve a problem. Decision making is also something that kind of falls under leadership. So how you work with others, how you decide what to do in a stressful situation. So as police officers, we do get calls that are very stressful, and we do go to the scene, and you are going to be forced to make a decision right away and lead others, and they're going to look at you for answers. So here's an example. I remember as a new recruit on the road, working on the busy QEW, going to the scene of a collision and having to jump out of my police cruiser and deal with the situation. So there was a collision blocking all lanes of the highway. I had to go out. I had to make sure everyone was okay in the vehicles, stop traffic, let other officers and the dispatchers know what was going on, if I needed backup, and then I needed to deal with the situation that was going on at the scene, and then safely get everyone off the highway and investigate this collision. So people are looking at you to make the decision to tell them what to do, because you were in uniform. So whether you're good at making decisions or not, you are forced to take that leadership role and to make those decisions in a second. So you need to make sure that you have some experience doing that, and you're comfortable talking to people. You're comfortable taking on that lead role. Okay. I think I see somebody here that had mentioned that they're an auxiliary member at the Burlington detachment. That's awesome. Auxiliary is a great way to get involved with the OPP on a volunteer basis. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you coming out and helping out. And it's a great way to get involved in community events and kind of get your feet wet, go on some ride-alongs with officers. So thank you very much for doing that. So what is shift work like? How can I prepare if I've never done shift work before? So when I first started as a police officer, I had not worked shift work before, but I had worked late hours at a bar. I had at a golf course, working past 12 o'clock. So I had also gone to university where I had stayed up later to study for exams, so I was okay with staying up a little bit later. But obviously, it is a challenge. My suggestion is make sure that you're working full-time employment before you apply to the OPP, just so that you're used to working longer hours. A lot of our detachments, they are 12-hour shifts that we do work, and some are 4-4 schedule, some are 5-4 schedule. It just depends on where you're working. So it is a challenge at the beginning with the shift work, but everyone's cognizant of that. If you haven't worked shift work before, make sure that you let the officers that you're working with know. So opportunities to stay up late before you start working, that might be a good test or trial run, just to kind of stay up throughout the night and see how you feel. Again, it is a challenge if you've never done it before, but just keep working at it. And I'm sure that if you've had a full-time job before, you'll easily do fine at it. So how are the areas of assessment weighted? Is there one more important than the other? So you know what? So we do have 10 areas of assessment. They're all very important. We're not looking for a cookie cutter person. We're looking for somebody that has everything. So we're looking at somebody that does follow, has good leadership experience, somebody that has had full-time employment in the past. We're looking at somebody that is physically fit. We are looking for somebody that has a lot of volunteer experience. So these are all things that we do look for, and we want somebody that overall does have something in every area. So there are different scoring ways that we score people, I guess you could say. But overall, if you meet most of those areas, you should be good. See, somebody said that I coach youth soccer. How does the OPP work with me to continue that after shift work or with shift work? And they're just wondering if they can continue doing it after they do work for the OPP if you've got a fixed coaching schedule. So again, when you work as a police officer, you are obviously working shift work. It doesn't always work with volunteer or sports. So you just make it work. We are a family. Once you are off probation, a lot of the time you can get somebody to cover your shifts. If you've got a tournament coming up on the weekend, or say Wednesday nights, you've got a soccer practice or another sport practice that you have going on, and you really are committed and you want to continue coaching it. There is opportunities to have other officers work that shift for you so that you can attend that commitment. But at the beginning, you do have to pay your dues, work your shifts, learn the role as a police officer first, and that's something that down the road that maybe you can look into, maybe getting somebody to cover your shift. And they're not going to be able to amend your schedule at the beginning. You do get vacation time. You can use stat time and accumulated time off that you do bank at the beginning of the year, and after you work some overtime that you can use to take time off of your schedule if you do have events like that you want to go to, or if you do want to volunteer. So that is something that you can look at. But again, it's super important to get involved in your community, and we do see that, and we want people to form those relationships, those bonds with people in our communities, because then they're comfortable coming to you and talking to you when you are a police officer and working on the road, and maybe they have a situation that's going on that they just don't feel comfortable talking to somebody else about. So it's great to form those relationships and make the community members comfortable with you. But again, it is a challenge when you work shift work, trying to juggle volunteering, especially if it's a set schedule. So we have a question about why I chose the OPP and why I have stayed with the service. So the reason I chose OPP was because I wanted to stay in Northern Ontario. I did meet my partner when I was in university, and my partner did live in the area that I'm currently policing. So I knew right away OPP was where I wanted to, or the police service I wanted to apply to, because they were the police service that was policing in the area that I wanted to end up in and where I wanted to live. So for me, it was an automatic decision for me. I knew I didn't want to go to a municipal service because there wasn't one in the area that I wanted to live in. So why have I stayed with the OPP? So Sault Ste. Ontario, there is another police service that's an hour away. That's Sault Ste. Marie City Police, and that would have been a police service that I could have looked at applying to. But to be honest with you, at the time I did some ride-alongs with the OPP, and I really enjoyed that style of policing, and I really enjoyed policing a small community where I can really get involved. And to be honest with you, I've been up here in Thessalon, in this area, in the East Algoma detachment cluster for the past 12 years now. And the relationships that I've formed with the community members, with the teachers, with the nurses, and have just been unreal. Everyone knows everyone's name up here. If somebody has a question about policing, a lot of the time, informally, they'll ask me when they see me at the grocery store or at one of the schools. So that there is something that I was really looking for in a career where I could form those personal relationships with people and help my community and really get involved within it. Okay, just looking at a few other questions here. What are the physical requirements to be a police officer? So with the OPP right now, the only physical requirement that you need to meet when you're going through our process is hitting the level 7 on the 20-meter shuttle run. So that is 20 meters, you're running back and forth, listening for a beep. Some people also refer to it as the beep test. A lot of the high schools, that's what they refer to it as. So that there's the only physical requirement that we do need you to meet when you're going through the process. When you go to the Ontario Police College, they will do the prep test with you, and that is a mandatory physical requirement to achieve by the end of the time that you're at the Ontario Police College in order to successfully pass it and continue with your employment. So with the OPP, when you're going through the process, level 7 in the shuttle run, once you get to the Ontario Police College, you will be having to do the prep test. So the prep test, if you're not aware of it, you can Google it. Also, it is a obstacle course, I guess you could say, where you're going up and down stairs, jumping up on a ledge, kind of going over a fence, a fake fence that they've kind of made. There's a push and pull machine. There's a machine that simulates handcuffing somebody, and there's a dummy pull at the end. After you complete that, you wait a few minutes and you go and you do the shuttle run. So it is very physically demanding. You are wearing weight on you while you're doing it to simulate you wearing your vest and a belt, your duty belt. So it is a physically demanding I guess we could say obstacle course to complete. But if you are physically able to achieve level 7 in the shuttle run, you should be able to achieve the minimum standard and the time frame that you need to complete in order to pass the prep test. Someone's asking about the community up north and what it's like. They say they would like to venture to the north with family. And they're just asking what it's like to move up north with family. So when I originally moved up north, I did not have children at the time. So it was very different. It was me and my partner at the time moving up here. I was first in Elliott Lake. It was very different from Southern Ontario for me. I was used to working on the highway, driving at higher speeds, and then I came down or up to East Algoma, and all the highways, they're about 90 kilometers an hour up in this area. So a little bit slower than the 100 kilometers an hour on the 400 series highways. Traffic is really unheard of in these smaller areas. I do not have one traffic light that I need to stop at on my way to work, which is great. The hour commute that I would sometimes have for my 10-kilometer commute from Burlington, from the Burlington detachment to home, was pretty long. Up here, my hour commute would get me to Blind River or past it. So that's like 70 kilometers. So in the end, it's very rare that I meet other vehicles on the highway in the morning when I'm heading to work at 5 in the morning. I might meet a deer, a moose, or an elk, but it's very different. I can drive in cruise control. I'm not in stop and go traffic, which I really enjoy. Another thing that I really like about northern communities is the small town policing, and that everyone knows everyone up here. If you are the new officer in town, everyone already knows that. They probably already know your name. They probably already know where you came from. And if you have family members that already live in the community, because they've told everyone about you. So it is great if you do get a chance to police in a northern detachment. A good thing about it is that we are really a team up here. If you get posted in a smaller detachment, call that detachment, get as much information as you can about the area. If you have a partner, or if you have family members that are going to be moving up with you that have a career already and they're looking for a job in the area, talk to the officers and let them know. They probably know opportunities in the area, whether it's healthcare, teaching. There's tons of opportunities. So I 100% suggest going north. It's a great opportunity. We have tons of openings in our northern duration postings, and one of the best things about smaller northern communities are the small hospitals. Here's an example. I was sick earlier on in the year. I went to the hospital, the local one. I was seen by a doctor. I got an x-ray, and I was going home with some medication all within an hour and a half. So these smaller communities with small hospitals, you don't have the wait times like you do in Southern Ontario when you're waiting 8-9 hours to see a doctor at these hospitals, which I absolutely love. Okay, so how long does the application process usually take? Start to finish, we're saying right now 2 to 4 months. Could be a little bit longer, all depending, but that's on average how long the whole process is taking currently. If you want to go north, sometimes it's a little bit faster. Just depends on when you put in your application too. So right now we're trying to fill our beginning of June class. So if you had put in your application a month or two ago, that's the one that you would probably be slotted for. And the one after that will be the end of August, starting of September. We have a question about overtime opportunities policing in the north. That's a great question. Plenty of opportunities. The great thing about the Ontario Provincial Police is that we do police the whole province. So if there aren't opportunities in your cluster, your detachment that you're currently working in, sometimes there's opportunities in other areas in the province, and you can actually apply to go to these other areas and work overtime shifts in those detachments if you're chosen. It's an online kind of portal where you put in your name, where you're from, that you want overtime on these specific days. So great opportunities to check out other areas of the province that you might be interested in, that maybe they need the support from officers because they are low on officers at that time, or there's people off for whatever reason. So great opportunities. Also, being in a small detachment, I'm right now at the East Algoma Thessalon OPP detachment. Sometimes we are at large calls for service where we are unable to leave at the end of our shift. So your shift might be done at 6 o'clock, but you're 2 hours up a northern highway, and you know that you're the next officer to come in, it's going to take them 2 hours to get to you. So that would be overtime itself, just waiting for your relief from that scene wherever you are. Someone's asking about if their experience in correctional service would help them through the process. You know what? Absolutely. That's some great transferable skills that you would have. You more than likely have handcuffed people before. You've dealt with people that are in the jails. You are probably have great communication skills, maybe de-escalation skills that you're bringing forward. So these are great transferable skills that we will see. So please tell us all about that in an application, and you will have that experience. when you start on the road and feel comfortable already dealing with people and handcuffing people, and know your powers of arrest, which is a huge benefit, because it's one less thing you need to worry about and get comfortable doing, because you've already got that confidence coming into your career. Somebody's asking if there's any way that you can apply to to a specific northern region. Absolutely. So when you apply online on our portal, we will ask for which detachments you'd like to police out of. So you can put all 4, or you could put all 6 northern detachments if you'd like, whether it's northeast, northwest. You can put some southern Ontario detachments. Our goal is to try to get you one of those 6 detachments that you've put on your application. Obviously, sometimes there isn't openings in those specific areas, and we might offer you something in one of the areas surrounding one of the detachments that you've chosen. But yes, you can put all 6 northern detachments that you'd like to police in, and we will absolutely have a look at that. That's great to us. There's also, let's just kind of touch base or touch on the northern durations. So a great thing about going to the northeast or northwest, is that there are duration postings anywhere from 2 to 5 years in total. With those come a little bit of extra money to go police in these northern detachments. A 2-year duration posting. We do have 3 of them: Moose City, Pickle Lake, and Armstrong. So if you choose to go to one of those detachments, you do get paid an extra $20,000 a year to work up in those detachments. So that's a one-time payment that you will receive on the day that your duration starts, and then after your first year, you will receive that money, and that's to help you, because things are a little more expensive in these northern communities. You don't have all the amenities that a large town would have, like a Walmart, a Costco, maybe a Starbucks. You might not have those things in those communities, so this is a little bit of extra money to get you to the larger communities, or to be able to travel down to those communities to pick up those items if you need them. So somebody has asked, what are the ways that that I specifically take care of my mental health in this kind of work? So, and what motivates me? So, you know what? Everyone's different in the way that they take care of their mental health. That's something that we really look at when you're applying, that you have ways to deal with stress after the fact, or while you're going through stress, a stressful situation. So that is huge to us. Whether it is going to the gym, going for a run, talking to somebody that you trust, talking to a social worker, psychiatrist, psychologist, whoever you talk to, having somebody to talk to is key. The OPP does know that it's very important to have these resources, and therefore the OPP provides 100% coverage for psychological assistance for you and for your mental health. So this is huge. We also have a healthy workplace team that is in our areas that we work in. We have mental health clinicians that travel from detachment to detachment, talk with members after big calls for service. Obviously, mental health is a big topic right now, and it is very, very important when you are a police officer or involved in any kind of emergency service, because you know what, we do hear things that a lot of members of the public don't see, or do once in a lifetime see, and we see them sometimes on a regular basis. So it's super, super important to have somebody to talk to even before you are successful in getting a career with the OPP or with any police service or emergency service. So absolutely, that's super important. Me, myself, I like to run. That's something that I really enjoy doing. I like to play sports, things like that. Recently, it's been assisting and volunteering with a hockey team. So those are just fun things that I like to do, listening to music, things like that too. How would you recommend preparing for the interview? So if you are successful and you have been offered a local focus interview date, a great way to prepare is with friends and family. Go through those 10 areas of assessment that we do have on our website, and just kind of go through your application and talk about those areas. We're not out there to trick you. We're not going to ask you anything you shouldn't know. We want to know about you. It's really a discussion on who you are. We want to know that you, again, have those values that the OPP does look at, and that you do align with those OPP values. So we're not trying to trick you. Maybe do a mock interview. That's a great suggestion, with a friend, or maybe you have a family member or somebody that's already in policing that can help you out with that. But in the end, just know yourself, review the 10 areas of assessment, and just be able to answer questions about all those 10 areas, because that is what we are going to be asking you. So somebody is asking about, what if they're unable to volunteer due to work scheduling? What do I recommend? Community focus and volunteering doesn't have to be a large formal thing. It doesn't have to be every day. 1 hour you go and you volunteer at your children's school. It could be something as small as just helping someone out, somebody that needs their driveway shoveled. I know up where I am right now this weekend, they're calling for some freezing rain. They're calling for some snow. So helping out, going in and seeing if maybe a neighbor needs some help shoveling their driveway. It could be looking after a friend's child. It could be helping somebody that's struggling carrying things from the grocery store into their car. So it doesn't have to be something formal. It could be something that's a one-time event. It could be donating blood. It could be, if there's a race going on in your community, offering to help out, doing traffic control, just making sure that the runners are going in the right direction, things like that. It doesn't have to be something that you have continuously done for 4 hours a day or a week or a month. We just want to see that throughout your whole life, you have been involved in your community, that you are willing to help others out, and that you are forming those relationships in your community. So somebody's asking about what the schedule is like and if all detachments are the same. I know in the area that I am, we are the 5-4 schedule. So you do work 2 days, 3 nights, and then you have 4 off. Then you would work a 4 and you would work a 5 too. So it's a combination of days and nights, 12-hour shifts. I know when I worked down in Burlington, it was 4 on, 4 off, 2 days, 2 nights, 4 off. So everywhere you go, it's going to be different. Also, depending on if you do get involved with a specialty unit, sometimes the schedule is different. Sometimes you would work day shifts, Monday to Friday, 8 to 4. So it all depends on where you are. But when we are hiring for a road officer, a regular recruit, you will be working those more than likely 12-hour shifts, 4 on, 4 off, 5-4 schedule. So you will be working long hours, and you will be working 4 or 5 shifts in a row. So be prepared for that. It's a lot when you haven't worked that many hours in a row. So just kind of mentally prepare yourself for that. Somebody is mentioning that they want to get into First Nations policing and asking if they could apply through the OPP. The OPP does police numerous Indigenous communities throughout the province. We also assist with, I guess we could say, the different reserves, they sometimes have their own police service. Where I am, there's Mississauga First Nation. They have their own police service, and we do assist them at calls for service. So you do get opportunities to work on numerous Indigenous communities, depending on where you are posted. So if you were looking at specifically First Nations policing, my suggestion is look at our detachments, look at the communities in the area where there are Indigenous communities, and maybe apply for the ones that kind of you're looking for, or I don't know if you're from a specific area, but absolutely, we do police First Nations communities. Somebody's asking about the duration posting that we talked about. So again, in Northern Ontario, in some of the smaller communities, we do have duration postings. Where I am posted right now, East Algoma cluster, we're made up of 3 detachments. So we've got Thessalon, Blind River, Elliott Lake. Each detachment is a 5-year duration posting. So that means that you are committing to work at that detachment for 5 years straight. After that 5 years, you receive what's called a duration card. We say that's your golden ticket to police anywhere in the province. So if you are successful, if you receive the offer to a duration posting, say it's a 2-year, 3-year, 4-year, 5-year, you're expected to stay at that duration posting until the end. And then you can apply to another area that maybe is not a duration posting, and you would bump anyone else that's on that list trying to get to that detachment. So a lot of people in the north that want to go to larger communities like Thunder Bay, Sudbury, North Bay, Sault Ste. Marie, they will go to a duration posting. They will work their say 2 years there. They will apply at the end of the 2 years to go to, say, Sault Ste. Marie, and they will be placed on a list. Once that list is complete and it's your turn, you get to go there next. So I think that's just looking to see if there's any other questions, but it doesn't look like there's any other new ones. Again, I want to thank everyone for joining in today, and I wish you all the best in the hiring process if you are in it. And again, if you have any questions, anything like that, my suggestion is look at our social media. We do have the Ask Me Anything that we're doing every 2 weeks. And we do have lots of social media posts with detachment postings across the province. So just tune in, and we will see you next Wednesday.